President Trump promised that he would cut taxes, that he reduced taxes on small business, and that he would reduce the heavy regulatory costs that were imposed on them by the previous administration. And you can see, even before he began to act, that sentiment turned around.
Well, the White House continues to tout its rocking economy, particularly small businesses. Optimism continues to soar. We're talking near record levels for a long period of time, and profits have gone through the roof. Now, out today, we saw job openings hit a new all-time high in April, 6.7 million, underscoring that this economy is extraordinarily strong. Workers, there's a lot of jobs out there. Also, non-manufacturing data out today. We saw that 58.6 in May. That beat the estimates. And by the way, we've expanded there for 100 straight months. Here now to discuss it all, Susan Solovic, small business expert, and Mattie Duppler, Independent Women's Forum visiting fellow. Susan, first of all, great seeing you in studio.
Great to be here, Charles.
All right, let's talk about this. You're the small business experts. The first niche of the economy that reacted to the election was the NFIB small business. We saw it zoom, go straight to the moon. It has stayed there. Now they're seeing record profits. And I feel like this is sometimes a better proxy, if you will, than like the Business Roundtable, which to me has a more political, globalist agenda.
Well, they've been doing the report for so many years that they have a lot of data to compare it to. I think that's important, and certainly optimism is up, as your SOT was saying earlier. Tax reform, fewer regulations, economic forecast for small business is very good. But I think there's an interesting conundrum here, Charles, because 57% of small business owners say they want to hire new people. But of that number, 88% cannot find qualified applicants. So the conundrum is that, we've got this low unemployment rate. What that means for a small business is the job market becomes very much more competitive, and it is harder for them to compete with larger companies who can offer higher salaries and who can offer more competitive benefits.
Sounds like a high-class problem to have, but could it actually derail what's going on?
I think it could have an effect down the road. I think that still healthcare is a #1 issue for small businesses right now. I know that we'd like to see more tax reform. And as your earlier guests were talking about the tariffs, that is very problematic for small business because the whole cost of operations going up. What people don't realize is that employers or companies with fewer than 20 employees actually have about 37% of all exports and about 43% of all imports.
Really? Wow,
yes.
I did not know that either. I will have a controversial solution to the jobs issue in my market read. Mattie, I want to ask you about this because, the headlines are always something that's about things that have nothing necessarily to do with the economy, and it has drowned out completely this story. But I think the market's hearing it, I think investors are hearing it, and I think it's resonating with everyday Americans.
Yeah, Charles, I think one of the #1 takeaways from today's data dump is that this is not a sugar high situation. As soon as we start getting good economic numbers, we hear from all the contrarians who want to say that this is just a sugar high or it's just temporary. What we're seeing now is fundamental differences in the way our economy is functioning. And I think that you would see at this point in this cycle this kind of optimism from small businesses because remember, a lot of small business owners pay their taxes on the individual side of the code. That means their tax changes came into effect starting in February of this year when the IRS changes withholding tables. So these business owners are the ones who have started to see the ramifications of the tax cut immediately in the beginning of this year and are now changing their business behavior as a result. You've seen in all of these reports that that they want to hire more people, that they're increasing wages as a result because they have a tightening labor market. These are all good news. This is good news for the economy. It's good news for the average American worker.
It certainly is. Ladies, we've got to leave it there. Thank you both very much.